Didn't see you there. What are you doing? Right, come here. Now that you're here. So, I'm trying to ask out my crush. I wrote her this really sweet letter. It's been 10 minutes, and the keep out sign isn't exactly helping matters. But, since you are here, mind if I teach you a few things? Come with me. Let's go on an adventure real quick. Back in second grade, I vividly remember developing my first ever crush. It was so interesting because I was with a group of my guy friends, right? And it was recess and we were all talking about having a crush on whatever girl there was in the class. And I remember when it got to my turn, I vividly pointed at the quietest girl in the class. Let's call her Dane. Dane over here had a very interesting development on my life because she became someone completely different now, but back then she was my first ever crush, and that to me made me feel something that nothing else in life ever did. It felt big, gigantic, and kind of scary. It was simply a fact that I pointed out, but only now becomes something that I deeply feel nostalgic about. I remember then by third grade I wrote a letter to Dane talking about how much I had a crush on her, to which she actually gave me a pretty sweet letter in return. I read it over and over, at least 5 times a day, till my gym teacher found the letter and eventually took it from me. It often disturbed me, and to be honest, I was quite sad about the end results. But the more I think about that letter, and the more I gave away letters over the course of my entire life, I realized how powerful it is to write about your crush. This might be one of the weirdest video ideas specifically for this channel, but I promise you there is still a lot of value to this topic. I was going down memory lane thinking about all the letters I've received from friends, unfamiliar crushes, and even people that I love, and I had to think to myself how words are timeless based on the writings we see. I often enjoy the act of writing. The idea of writing about myself or to a vague audience is one thing, but when you're writing about a specific someone, whether it be a friend or someone with romantic interest, the story changes and you yourself have to develop in a way that nothing else has or ever will. I have all the letters I've ever received despite that second grade letter. It got lost somewhere in between me moving houses, and I do partially wish to have it, but in some regards I'm relieved to not have that letter. There's a big middle ground you have to develop whenever you're writing about a crush. It often is a feeling of embarrassment, cringe, and regret, to say the least. But when you get to the point where you can enjoy the process of making something, whether it's beautiful art or, to simply put, a letter towards a crush, you have the ability to change the story. These feelings are so massive in emotion that we simply have to write about it. That's why authors like myself write gigantic stories to portray this feeling, this theme, this lesson or idea. And when we're trying to get across that we enjoy the company of someone else, things get muddy. And for some, it leads to a swampy and horrific feeling. But for others, this is what I plan to teach you. Hello, I am Arnel Arcega, and I'm one of the healthiest authors and writers on this platform. As such, I educate people on how to read and write, and if you want personal help to write your own story, or hell, write a letter to your own crush, then check out my Instagram down the link in the description, as well as my books down there as well. For now, I want to discuss the topic about said letters and how beautiful it is. It's a deeply childish thing for some, yet for others, it's amazing. It's a wonderful feeling, to say the least. You feel like this massive weight off of your shoulders the more you realize this fact. Back in February this year, I haven't really wrote down anything to any crushes, but I wrote 7 letters to my female friends, and to simply put, they really loved what I did. And I loved what I did myself because it's so sweet and so honest. It's great to write something to someone because we build intimacy. One of the best cases of intimacy comes in this book I made from February, talking about this band experience I had for 3 days. And even though it only lasted 3 days, every time I feel low or feel the need to check up on myself, I read this because I have hundreds upon hundreds of signatures on top of what I did. I doubt any of these people had a crush on me specifically, but I really loved the energy that was put on, and that hugely inspired this video. I wanted to discuss the topic of how writing itself is timeless, how we can evolve as people based on the writing anyone else gives. It's everyone and ourselves, and when we receive feedback that we often push, it's embarrassing at first, but the more we realize it, the more confident we become, and our lives are more secured. It's easy to tell someone that they are fantastic, they are amazing, but to write it down, for those who especially love words of affirmation, they remind us of who we are. And we're human, we're still alive, and we're still kicking. We're able to make mistakes, but our letters are infinite. My best advice for you, if you have a crush that you want to write a letter for, is to keep it brief, keep it simple, and don't overdo it. The best thing about this whole thing here is that, once again, I did not have it for any of my crushes, nor did I write specifically for them. But what I got out of it was positivity and affirmation. It's affirming the fact that I am here, and I am someone who's willing to change lives based on the energy I'm giving. In order to do that, however, you must start writing. Create ideas for friends and family, and when the time comes, give it to them when it matters, because let's face it, it's all about emotional honesty. I was listening to an album called Melophobia by Cage the Elephants, and it's one of the most interesting records I've heard because of the fact that it brought a level of emotional honesty I don't see in music. When I thought about that emotional honesty, that is what developed into true and honest trust. We must learn to trust each other, and we must build intimacy. It doesn't matter how you write, you have your own voice, and this video was all so you can continue motivating yourself and inspiring others through the words around you. Whether that crush works out or it doesn't, take my story for granted, because things will change. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Use this information wisely and continue inspiring others. Now, let's go back to waiting at that door and see exactly if she's responded. On second thought, I don't think she likes me. But that's okay. You win some, and you lose some. Maybe that's the best advice I could give you. But still, continue writing beautiful letters.